On an early Saturday night, September 1st, 1973, 15-year-old Terry Sutter asked his family if he could hang out with his friends in Frankfort, Michigan for a night of bowling and to catch a flick in the local movie theater. His mom agreed under the condition that he had to be at his grandmother's house, who lived nearby, no later than 11 p.m. that night. Terry promised her that he would, and that was the last time she would see her son alive. Unbeknown to his family, what Terry really wanted to do was to go to a secluded party in the woods to impress some new friends whom he recently met. He needed beer, so he had one of his friends who had a car and was of age to buy beer for him and drop him off at the party. He arrived at the party that night armed with a six-pack, ready to let loose, and hopefully be back by 11 p.m. But something sinister happened. Terry must have angered someone at the party, or the people there had nefarious intentions, and he was the perfect target. Sunday morning came and Terry's grandmother informed his mom that Terry never arrived at her home, and she had no idea where he was. This prompted Terry's parents to call the police and report him missing, but the officers weren't especially worried, and they did very little to look for him. The police had no idea that something diabolical was about to happen in their once peaceful community. Later that afternoon, a doctor staying at his beach home in Lake Michigan spotted a body down a bluff on the beach lying between two logs close to the lake. The police were summoned and it turned out to be Terry Sutter's body. At first, it was thought that Terry got drunk and accidentally fell down the cliff into Lake Michigan and drowned. But this wasn't the case. Terry was viciously beaten. He had multiple bruises on his head and neck, and he didn't drown. Instead, he inhaled sand that filled his lungs until he suffocated to death. His eyes were bloodshot and filled with sand. It was reported that when paramedics handled his body, his skin felt like a beanbag. The rumor was when Terry arrived at the party, his so-called friends, for reasons unknown, beat and kicked him until they thought he was dead, and threw his body in the trunk of their car and drove him to the beach area and pushed him off the cliff to simulate an accidental death. When they discovered he was still alive, one of the assailants smothered his head into the sandy beach with his foot until he breathed sand, which ultimately killed him. Who would do this to poor Terry Sutter, who seemed to be a good person according to his family and friends? The police questioned Terry's high school friends and even a guy that bought the beer and drove him to the party, but nothing substantial came out of it, and no one said anything that could lead police to the murderers. Terry had an open casket funeral. His family wanted the public to know what had happened to him, so his face was shown as he was found on the beach, with sand still seeping from his eyelashes and nostrils. It was a horrid sight, but still, no one came forward to take responsibility. And it gets worse from here. When Terry was buried at the local cemetery, his grave was repeatedly vandalized by persons unknown. Flower pots and plants placed on his grave were torn up and smashed. A bush planted by Terry's sister was pulled out of its roots and thrown about. To prevent more vandalism, Terry's family had no choice but to rebury him on an unmarked grave so he can finally rest in peace. To this day, there has been no arrest or any suspects or even a motive to why he was savagely beaten, and the question remains, is the person or persons responsible for his death the same people that vandalized his grave? If you have any information on this cold and bizarre case, please report it to the Benzie County Sheriff's Office at 231-882-4484. It's due time. Terry's family needs the closure that they deserve. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.